Basically, Boris Johnson, the UK Prime Minister, he's been caught lying. And it's fairly serious. I'll get into it. Basically, the Mirror published a story that he had broke the COVID lockdown rules by hosting a party at number 10 Downing Street. For those of you who don't know, that's basically the White House in London, right? It's the equivalent. And this is last year. So it's not this December, it's last December. And this party allegedly took place on December 18th. Now, it's very significant because 2 days before the party, on December 16th, they introduced new tiers, right? So basically, every zone had a different tier. There was tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, and so on. And, you know, each tier has its own restrictions, different lockdown restrictions. And basically, the restrictions that London was in were tier 3, right? And they're very clear. No person may participate in a gathering in the Tier 3 area, which consists of 2 or more people, and takes place in a private dwelling or in any indoor space. Of course, there are exceptions, you know, but a Christmas party is not one of them, right? It's not, you know, when you have a Christmas party or an office party, that's a social event. It's a social gathering. And that is certainly not one of the exceptions. Even though it takes place at the workplace, it's not a work event. And so they were telling people, oh, it's very serious. You know, you cannot have Christmas. Christmas is canceled. And so, you know, you have to change your plans. Here's Boris Johnson, again, December 16th. Take a look at what he says.
Expensive decisions they may already have taken, but we do urge everyone to follow the guidance. It's there, and help to reduce to a minimum the number of meetings with other people that we have, because that's the way to stop the spread of the virus.
Right, so he's telling you need to reduce the number of meetings. You want to stop the spread of the virus. Be responsible. I don't know how many times he said the word responsible. You can go count it in that speech. But it's a lot. And so this story was broken by the Mirror at the end of November, right? Beginning December. And then all the other outlets started picking it up. You know, The Guardian had a source, the BBC had a source, the Times had a source, the Financial Times had a source. They all had different sources telling them about this party, because apparently there were dozens of people there. Dozens of people in this social event. So this is from the Times, and they say the party last year is understood to have been organized via a WhatsApp group with staff asking to bring secret Santa presents. Some of those present also wore Christmas jumpers. I love how incriminating it is. Like, some of them even wore Christmas jumpers. Yeah, I mean, that's not the main point, but still. About 30 people are understood to have attended the event. Some staff working in other parts of the building are said to have joined in the festivities later in an impromptu way. Okay, and they brought alcohol and food, and they're kicking back drinks and everything. And so, at first, the response from number 10 Downing Street is, what is this party? We didn't know anything about this party. And then you have other ministers, you know, Dominic Raab, for example, who are saying, well, these are just anonymous sources. You know, you can't believe that. If there's any evidence, then of course we can look at it. But, you know, it's just anonymous sources. Well, if you want the evidence, here you go. So basically, this picture leaked of Boris Johnson at the party, and this person over here is wearing a Santa hat, and, you know, they're basically playing a quiz. They're having a quiz game, and he joined in, I think, for about 10-15 minutes to be a quiz master or something. That's what they're saying in any case. So he was there. He didn't just turn a blind eye to it, but he was there. And the media asked Dominic Raab about another thing. There was another photo that leaked afterwards of a garden party. So here's the garden party, right? And you can see Boris Johnson down there. So this is clearly not social distancing. This is not compatible with what they told the rest of the country. They're telling everyone you have to cancel Christmas. It's worse than that, right? When we're saying cancel Christmas, I'm going to show you some much worse things that people had to endure. You know, but basically, I mean, this is not social distancing. This is not a lockdown. Something is off here, right? So take a look at what Dominic Raab said to The Guardian, I believe it was. Who was he talking to here?
The Gathering, which number 10 said.
Yeah, BBC Breakfast. Take a look.
The Gathering, which number 10 says was a work meeting, has been published in today's Guardian newspaper. We can speak now to the Deputy Prime Minister, Dominic Raab. Morning to you, Mr. Raab. I'm just going to start with that photograph that's in the Guardian today. So, wine and cheese in the Downing Street garden, that was last May, last year, when the rule stated we could only meet one other person outside. Just explain to us what was actually happening here.
Well, you're right to point to those rules around social mixing, but of course number 10, and including number 10, the garden there, is used for work meetings. They were throughout the day to which the picture relates, and as with many places of work, particularly if you can think of how hard they're working and under the various pressures of the week, they would sometimes have a drink, and that's what you can see there. But that was primarily after the work meetings of the day.
Well, that's a bit of an odd answer. He's like, yeah, but you know, they were working hard. You peasants wouldn't know anything about that. We work hard in the government, and you know, people would just, they're enjoying a drink. They deserve it. Well, that does not look very, very good, does it? And so, as you can see, their responses from the government are laughable. Now, they're saying that, well, you know, all the rules were followed, which, I mean, is so ambiguous. I don't even know what that means. How are you saying all the rules were followed when you were literally in a photograph, not social distancing, not in lockdown? You're having a Christmas party. How is that the rules were followed? Because that's what Boris Johnson is saying now. So at first they're denying the party, and now they're saying they're not overtly saying the party did happen. They're saying that all the rules were followed. Well, clearly no. And so people were beginning to ask the police to get involved. They're saying, these guys broke the rules. Here's the evidence. You need to go investigate. And you can guess what the police did. You don't need me to tell you the rest of the story because it's just details. You already know what the police did. Nothing. Right? And it gets even funnier because first of all, the police said, well, we don't investigate retroactive breaches of COVID rules, right? So this is a year old. This is 1 year ago. Why should we investigate this? It's boring. You know, we don't do it retrospectively. Yeah, but, you know, you are fining people retrospectively. There were many people arrested during this period, and they, you know, their court cases haven't disappeared because it happened a year ago. And that's the first official police response, right? And then what the police did is they referred themselves to the police watchdog. They're like, well, maybe we don't know how to handle this. Let the police watchdog take a look at it. And what do you think the police watchdog did? Nothing. Also nothing, of course, right? Of course they did absolutely nothing. And here's a tweet. Let me just read you this tweet. It says, the police watchdog and the police, the Met, won't investigate why officers allowed parties to happen in number 10 Downing Street because the complainant, Greenie Jenny Jones, so she's an MP. No, sorry, she's in the House of Lords, excuse me. But she's for the Green Party, right? Because the person complaining wasn't physically present or personally affected. Well, look, I'm pretty sure that if you had called the police and said, look, these people are not abiding by the COVID rules, the police are not going to ask you if you're related to them or if you're there. They would just go and investigate it. But because it's the Prime Minister, apparently, you know, they're coming up with these imaginary rules now. That, well, you're not personally affected and you weren't there, so you can't make a complaint. Wow. Wow. That's really amazing, right? And so, as I said, the police did nothing. The police watchdog is going to do nothing. And that's it. Right? And so I want to show you some really heart-wrenching tweets, some statements from people who were really adversely impacted by this lockdown last year. This is someone on Twitter said, they said that, quote, I said goodbye to mum after 79 years last year over Facebook Messenger and even had a picture in her last minutes before death while Boris Johnson carried on as normal during the number 10 party, hashtag cheese and wine. No funeral, as we were too widespread and couldn't travel. So this person's mother died. They couldn't even be with their mother, and they couldn't even have a funeral. And meanwhile, Boris Johnson is playing Quizmaster. I mean, that's not right. That's not right, is it? You can't say that's right. That's not okay. And, you know, that's just one example. Really, I wish I saved them. There are countless examples that I've read like that. People who couldn't visit loved ones in the hospital, people who had family members die, they couldn't even see them during their last hours, they couldn't hold a funeral. I mean, you know, you're going to make those people suffer and abide by these rules. Fine, but why aren't these people in the government who are making the rules, why don't they have to abide by them? The problem here is not why there was a lockdown, or you know, why the rules were in place. The problem here is that there were rules in place, and the government have another set of rules for themselves. Clearly. And this is a multifaceted thing, because the rules last year, they weren't abiding by them, right? The police gives them special treatment, and then the police watchdog also gives them special treatment. And, you know, this might be one of the few rare instances where the media is actually holding them accountable. Although some people think it's a distraction. I've read people say that it's a distraction. This Christmas party story is a distraction from the Nationality and Borders Bill, which they're trying to get through Parliament, which we'll get to in a second. Don't think I was going to leave that out. And so, you know, I've heard a wide array of stories, but there's clearly two sets of rules here, right? And this is Boris Johnson again. I broke no rules over Christmas parties. Yeah, well, sorry, mate, but the picture says otherwise, you know? The picture says otherwise. There are people who have been fined thousands of pounds because they were partying during Christmas at the same time as Boris Johnson. So if you're going to fine them, shouldn't you be fining him? Or let's put it this way. If you're not going to fine Boris Johnson, should you not let the other people off the hook? Why give special treatment, favoring one person and not the other? I think it should be done in a positive aspect. Not let's punish everyone, but, you know, let's help everyone. Let's treat everyone nicely and not in a bad way. And another telltale about this story is the I want to show you this. So basically, in the UK, you know, you guys in the US, you have Jen Psaki. She's the White House spokesperson, right? Well, in the UK, we have hold on, let me pull up this video for you. We have Allegra Staten, so she's basically the number 10 Downing Street spokesperson. And I think this was just when after they created this role, they were having a mock press conference, like a trial press conference. And they were joking about, and someone recorded it. Take a look.
Twitter, but there was a Downing Street Christmas party on Friday night. Do you recognise those reports?
I went home. Hold on.
Would the Prime Minister condone having a Christmas party?
What's the answer?
I don't know. It wasn't a party, it was cheese and wine.
Just be clear, it's not.
Is cheese and wine all right? No. It was a business meeting.
I'm joking.
It is recorded. His fictional party was a business meeting. And it was not socially distanced. One more, and then ask anybody have any questions today.
Well, there you go. She's basically admitted to it. And you know what happened? She broke down in tears and resigned. So this is December 8th.
Can you stop, please? Can you stop? I'm going to make a statement. You don't. The British people have made immense sacrifices in the ongoing battle against COVID-19.
I'm not going to play the whole video, but you get the picture. So, you know, she's one of the reasons we know that the party actually happened. And again, this is not just about, they're having cheese and wine. It doesn't really matter what they were doing at the party. It's the point that you have two sets of rules, one for the elites, one for the government, and one for everyone else. Clear, very clear special treatment back then and now. And let me tell you one thing, just to be clear about this idea that, oh, well, the police didn't know anything and they can't investigate retrospective COVID breaches. Do you really think the Prime Minister is at number 10 Downing Street and there's no police nearby? There's police literally outside the door, always. Anytime you watch a video, you walk past number 10 Downing Street, there's always police guarding the residence, which is also next door, by the way. There's always police, inside and outside. So they knew about it, and they also turned a blind eye.